Today we are going to talk on the top 5 worst presidents in Africa. Before I continue, please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do not hesitate to do so. Click on the notification bell and do not forget to drop your comments. Thank you. The top 5 worst presidents in Africa are: Number 1, the President of Equatorial Guinea, President Teodoro Obiang Nguema. The President of Equatorial Guinea has ruled Equatorial Guinea, a tiny oil-rich West African country, since August 1979, when he overthrew his uncle, President Francisco Nguema, in a bloody coup d'etat. Equatorial Guinea is one of the continent's largest producers of oil and has one of the highest per capita incomes in the world, but this doesn't necessarily translate into prosperity for its people. The country ranks very poorly in the United Nations Human Development Index. The vast majority of Equatorial Guineans hardly have access to clean drinking water. Meanwhile, the first son of the president, Teodoro Obiang, spends millions of dollars of state funds financing his lavish lifestyle, which includes luxurious properties and a collection that could easily make billionaires go green with envy. The second, the president of Angola, President José Eduardo dos Santos. He took over the reins of power in September 1979, following the natural death of his predecessor, Agostinho Neto. To his discredit, José Eduardo has always run his government like his personal privately owned investment holding company. His cousin served as the Angola's vice president, and his daughter Isabella dos Santos is arguably the wealthiest woman in the country. Angola also has massive diamond deposits and occupies an enviable position on the world's fourth largest producer of rough diamonds. But for all its resource wealth, the vast majority of Angolans still live in the most horrid socio-economic conditions. Number 3, the president of Zimbabwe, President Robert Mugabe. Many Zimbabweans seem to think Mugabe is doing a stellar job. The country is on an economic rebound after several years of the decline. The GDP growth in 2011 was over 7%, and the Southern African state has experienced single-digit inflation since 2019. The country's agricultural sector is fast recovering after years of food shortages fueled by disruptions caused by Mugabe's infamous seizure of white-owned commercial farms. But Mugabe's inadequacies overshadows his achievement. For one, he has failed to deal with the ever-present problem of employment. The country's high literacy rate does not necessarily translate into employment opportunities for its people. Number 4, the King of Swaziland, King Swati III. Sub-Saharan Africa's last absolute monarch presides over a country which has one of the world's highest HIV prevalence rates. There, 30% of adults. Its average life expectancy is the lowest in the world at 33 years. Nearly 70% of the country's citizens live on less than $1 a day, and 40% are unemployed. But for all the suffering of the Swazi people, King Swati has barely shown concern or interest. He lives lavishly, using his kingdom's treasury to fund his expensive tastes in German and automobiles, first-class leisure trips around the world, and women. Number 5, the President of Sudan, Omar al-Bashir. The Sudan's president seized power in 1989 in a bloody military coup against the government of Prime Minister Sadiq al-Mahdi, a government which was democratically elected by the people of Sudan. Soon after seizing power, al-Bashir dispersed all political parties in the country, disbanded the country's parliament, and shut down all privately owned media outlets. His reign has been characterized by civil war in which over 1 million people have been killed, while several millions have been displaced. Al-Bashir is still wanted by the International Criminal Court for instigating crimes against humanity, particularly in directing and funding acts of violence against the Southern Sudan.